is exactly how this show started. So we had Charlotte, who was wearing something quite striking. It was like a suit that had graffiti all over it, which kind of really grabbed my attention. And I was talking about how striking the difference was between what she was wearing and what Alexa was wearing. Obviously, we're wondering now that they've lost those tag titles, are there going to be any signs of them drifting apart? And yeah, I thought this was quite striking, the difference. They've always been quite different, though, obviously. But yeah, there was a little bit of a falling out here. So the show started with Iyo and Rhea. Out came Alexa and Charlotte. And obviously we're heading towards War Games, and it felt like all of these were going to be on the same team, on the same page. But Charlotte basically said to Rhea, I don't like you, I don't trust you, and I think you're a snake. She then said, count me out. And so Charlotte was done. She was out. She walked away. And that was that open, basically. So obviously, we're expecting Charlotte to come back into this team. She was mentioned later in the show, Alexa saying she was trying to get a hold of Charlotte and she was struggling. I did think that it would all get resolved on this episode. It didn't. But so we're going to have to wait till Monday or wait till next Friday. But yes, as I'm sat here right now, I totally expect Charlotte to come back to this group. And I don't mind them kind of teasing the issues that Charlotte and Rhea have got, because they have feuded in the past. It would have been a real shame to have just ignored those issues and just act like, oh, we're best friends now. So I don't mind that. But I don't know that we need to go this far. I don't know that we need to make a big drama out of it, a big deal out of it, have Charlotte like walking away at the start of the show. I'm not sure that that's right either, to be honest. So I think for me, if I was booking this, I would have had Charlotte say, look, I don't like you, I don't trust you, but I do believe that you have got the same problem that I've got right now. And that problem is all to do with the Kabuki Warriors. And I want to get my hands on them just as much as you do. So for the sake of that, let's put our differences aside. I could buy that. I could believe that. I don't know that we need to make a story out of this. I don't know that it's interesting enough. So, little bit of a grumble with the open. I thought they executed it as well as they could. I don't think it's leading anywhere more interesting than that, but that's how the show started, right? Obviously, we moved on to the Last Time Is Now tournament. Michael Cole was saying, in the Last Time Is Now tournament, it's an inter-brand tournament. So Raw stars can compete on SmackDown and vice versa. So he's saying, don't be surprised if we do have Raw stars coming over to SmackDown and SmackDown stars going over to Raw. That is allowed when it comes to this Last Time Is Now tournament. There has been no bracket announced for this tournament. There is a Wikipedia page that seems to show a bracket, but I think that's just something a fan has guessed. I think a fan has kind of put their own little thing together thinking this is where it's going. WWE officially have not released any kind of bracket information. But our first match would be in that tournament. It would be Jey against The Miz. Jey would be looking to run back the entrance. The Miz would interrupt. I think a lot of people were very grateful for that. A lot of people not needing to see Jey redo the entrance again. Lovely moment here where Miz spiked Jey with a DDT. Looked really, really good. Match was going on. We even had a 5-knuckle shuffle from The Miz. I think this was probably Miz's tribute to John. He did the 5-knuckle shuffle, seemed to be looking to go for an AA, but unfortunately, he couldn't get the job done. Jey would beat The Miz in a match that I thought was okay. You lot said it was good 89. You was not blown away by it. I thought it was okay, right? As opening matches go, probably not as good as last week, to be honest, but it was okay. We would then go backstage and we would actually have Paul Heyman and Big Bronson Reed. Heyman said that he was allowed anyone on their War Games team. We didn't find out quite what that was alluding to, but we would find out later in the show, right? Cody Rhodes would appear, and he would confront Big Bronson Reed, and he would say, make a match for tonight. Big Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman, they were looking for the championship to be defended. Cody was more than happy to oblige. So that was our main event. Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Big Bronson Reed. The only downside to this is I don't think anyone at any point thought the belt was going to change hands. I mean, this just felt like what it ended up being, which was a way of having outside interference so that we could further the Survivor Series story. So, you know, I don't think anyone was looking at this thinking the belt was ever in any danger. Right, next up, we had Ilja doing his open challenge. That would be against Axiom. So this was, in my mind, the best moment of the match, right? So here we've got this moment. Off the ropes. Bang, look at that. Look at that. Only gets a 2 count. But that moment right there for me was the best moment in the match. Crowd were a little bit quiet until we got that spot. And then all of a sudden they started chanting, "This is awesome." It doesn't take much these days to get a "This is awesome" chant. And that was enough to do it. So it was a really great spot though, to be honest. Did enjoy that. The victory in this match would go to Ilja though. Ilja would still go on to get the victory. Then we would see this, so we would have R-Truth saying that he wants to put his balls in that tombola, right? And he would basically hand them over to Nick, and he would ask Nick to be careful with them. They didn't go in there. Nick instead handing them over to Chelsea. Chelsea would say, "Whose balls are these?" I don't mind this kind of tongue-in-cheek humour. I'm all right with it, honestly. It puts a smile on my face. I could understand it getting a bit overdone, but yeah, honestly, I thought this was pretty fun. Chelsea was upset that she had no championship celebration planned, so she wants one for next week. Nick Aldis has said, yes, we can do that. So looks like we're going to get a championship celebration for her next week, which could be a fun segment. I don't know if Julia is going to interrupt that. There was no sign of Julia this week. I'm okay with Julia having a week off this week. I'm sure many others out there are not and are probably complaining. But every chance that she makes her presence felt next week maybe interrupts that title celebration. If not, probably a good chance it could be Nikki Cross. We know that Nikki has been circling around this belt. Now might be the perfect time to strike. A Chelsea-Nikki feud could be, should be, a lot of fun. We saw that during commercial break, Axiom was attacked by Tommaso. Tommaso is really tired of waiting. And so he attacked Axiom during the commercial break. Oh, one of my favourite moments. So Sami was in the ring and he called out Solo. Solo came down with the MFTs and we got this moment right here. Solo was just going off on Sami. Sami, I know who you really are. You're a liar. Blah, 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 blah. But this is all I'm going to remember. So here he is, edge of the ring, stepping through the ropes. Solo. Ah! I flipping love this moment. You literally had one job. You had one job, right? We're trying to build up this guy's aura, and then he drops a clanger like this. Right? Here he is, coming through the ropes. Oh, hey! I flipping love it. That's all I could think about then for the rest of this segment. So Solo trips as he gets through the ropes. He goes up to Sami. Sami tells him that he is medically cleared. So it looks like Sami is back now. He said, I also didn't come alone. Down came Shinsuke. Down came Rey Fenix. Down came Motor City Machine Guns. We'd get this big brawl happening. We got a really good spot here, actually, from Rey Fenix. We was looking to see if anyone had caught him, right? I don't know. Maybe someone gets a bit of him. It's not a botch for me on the scale It's just really impressive. There he is, look. It's like a Beyblade. It's like a Beyblade in the air. So I'm not sure I don't know if that's Tongaloa. I think it is. I'm not sure if Tongaloa gets any of him. But there he is, Beyblading his way down to the ground. That was pretty fun. So, yes, we would find out that they are going to be put in a traditional Survivor Series match, but I think it's going to take place on SmackDown and not at Survivor Series. So it's going to be Sami, Motor City Machine Guns, Rey Fenix, and Shinsuke against Solo and the MFTs. That's coming up in I think a few weeks' time. Okay, backstage, we had Jimmy. He said that he is in the group with Cody, Punk, and Jey. So Dave Meltzer was right. We're not getting that amazing dream team of Cody, Roman, Punk, Cena, and Jey. We're not getting that because Jimmy is going to be in this team. So at the moment, we got Punk, Cody, and the Usos. There's only one spot left. And I'm guessing that's going to be the OTC, which does beg the question, what is John Cena going to be doing at Survivor Series? I mean, I've got to think that the OTC is going to join up with his family. I've got to think he's going in this, so that means Cena isn't. So what are we doing with John Cena? Unless, as I said during the stream, we're not going to have Roman in this. We're going to get someone else. And we're going to do Cena Roman at Survivor Series, which I think there's a tiny chance. I don't think that's where we're going, but there's maybe a tiny chance that we get Cena versus Roman at Survivor Series one last time. But then, who do you add to this? Theory? I mean, Theory was meant to be in Survivor Series as a heel. What if we bring him back as a face? What if we have Punk, Cody, Usos, and Austin Theory as a babyface? He was meant to be in this match. So, food for thought. Very much food for thought. Right. Wow. This is the thumbnail. I know it's not the thumbnail at the time of recording this, but it's going to be the thumbnail because I would say this is a true WTF moment. I did not expect this. I thought this was going to be Joe Hendry, but it's Zack Ryder. What shocks me, not so much that it's Matt Cardona, but that he's come back as Zack Ryder. This is almost certainly not his choice. This is WWE saying, I don't think anyone knows you as Matt Cardona, right? Maybe some do on the indie scene, but our fans are going to know you as Zack Ryder, so we're bringing you back as Zack Ryder because he has been very, very vocal. Here's a tweet I found, right? This was from August 2024. Don't believe Cody and The Miz. Zack Ryder is dead, right? So there we go. This is Matt Cardona responding to a little clip where they were talking about him. Zack Ryder is dead. And he said that many times. He has no interest in the Zack Ryder character. It's not a character I think he looks back on with loads of fondness. I think it was a bit of an enhancement character towards the end of its time. Actually, throughout a lot of its time. It's not a character that took him to a world title. It's a character that only just got him to a mid-card belt that he held for like 24 hours. So I think he was really looking to build up Matt Cardona, really build up that name on the indie circuit, and then bring that into WWE. So not only was I surprised it was not Joe Hendry, I was more surprised that it was actually Zack Ryder. Right, we've got this. Here's Zack Ryder and LA Knight facing off in an underpushed baby faces that are beloved by IWC match. It's true. Both of these are loved by the IWC. So I'd imagine there was quite a few tears. I'd imagine there was a lot of people that were watching this thinking it felt very much like an IWC dream match for many, many people. It's not a dream match for me. Matt Cardona, I'm kind of interested to see what we do with, but I was not petitioning for Zack Ryder to return, to be honest. I do wish he was Matt Cardona. Maybe that's a change we can make if he is going to be sticking around. And there just is a little bit of confusion about whether he's sticking around or not. So here we've got Zack Ryder loses to LA Knight. So LA Knight picks up the victory. Probably not too surprising. LA Knight, of course, is the main roster star. I don't know how long Zack Ryder's sticking around. Did feel like this might be one and done, but look at this. Hold on. There is new Zack Ryder merch. Is he back? Don't know. At the time of recording this, no one has said anything. Like, has he signed a deal? He must have signed at least some sort of merch deal in order for them to be sent. Like, apparently these shirts are now available on WWE Shop. So, is he back? Or is he back? It's a big question. Don't know the answer. We're going to have to wait and see. No message from Chelsea or Matt Cardona at this stage. I'm sure this will come out in the next 24 hours. Okay, backstage, Rhea, Iyo, and Alexa get laid out by the Kabuki Warriors, Nia, and Lash Legends. So, again, we didn't see Charlotte, but I think she's going to see Alexa being treated this way. Her friend, she said they're friends now, in the ring earlier in the show. I think this is going to lead towards Charlotte's return. Again, I don't think we need to make a story out of this personally, but whatever. Becky and AJ Lee are the two names we're expecting to kind of round out these teams. So those are maybe the names that get added next week. Maybe AJ Lee the week after. She's obviously going to be the big name that they kind of drop into this match. But those are the two names that I'm expecting. Yeah, I really like her ring gear. I thought she looked really good with this ring gear. I do just want to say what I said during the stream, though. There are some straps around her thighs, and there are a few other little bits and bobs which I just think are clutter and are not needed. Like, sometimes simple is better. I don't think she needs, like, the arm sleeves or anything like that. I think she's got something really interesting with this kind of multicolored ring gear. Thought it looked really good, genuinely. It kind of caught my attention. But then when I saw the rest of it, just started to feel a bit cluttered. I'd try and simplify it a little bit. But to be honest, I don't think she needs to worry about that. She needs to worry about lasting longer than 3 minutes in a match, because Jade against B-Fab ended in a victory for Jade, and the match was like 3 minutes, and we didn't even bother scoring it. So, yeah, underwhelming once again in-ring-wise this week. Then we had Michin just step up to Jade afterwards. So maybe that's a direction that we're heading in. Then we found out of the next matches that have been announced. So these are the next matches in the John Cena tournament. Bronson against Carmelo and Penta against Finn Balor. That is going to disappoint people, because that now, I believe, is the full 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There you go. 16-man tournament. That is everyone that's in it. There is just one more mystery name to be revealed on Monday. I think Joe Hendry feels like the front runner in that. If it's not Joe Hendry, it might be Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler. Certainly not expecting, obviously, Jericho or Edge or anything along those lines. So that's it. That's the list. I think there's going to be a lot of people underwhelmed that there's not a bigger name in there, a juicier name in there. But that's where we are. Obviously, Gunther, long been rumoured to win this thing. Not seeing any different right now. Still totally expecting Gunther to win this. And I think that could turn out to be Joe Hendry. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. Right, then we had Carmelo. He said, Mike, you might have won the battle, but the war's just begun. I'll see you when I see you. He then had a little brief moment where he bumped into Bronson. They're obviously in that first round match in the tournament. We then had Alistair and Zelina. It looks like Alistair hasn't quite took his sights off the championship yet, but I don't think that championship has got his name on at the moment. So, yeah, they weren't on the show. We'll have to see what's next for them. I don't think actually we've got it in here, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know where it's disappeared to, but we did have Uncle Howdy back on the show. He was hiding in the background. We got a little flash of Wyatt 6 imagery, and then just underneath the steps in the shadows, you could see Uncle Howdy again. That was it. I mean, there was nothing more to it than that. Wyatt 6, I believe, were on main events. Obviously, we've already had people being a bit down about that. All I would say is I think the Wyatt 6 have got their sights set on the MFTs, and the MFTs have just got a little problem with Shinsuke, Sami, Motor City Machine Guns, Rey Fenix. Like, they've got to deal with them first. So let's get that match out the way. As soon as we're done with that, we can move on to the feud with the Wyatt 6. So I think the Wyatt 6 are just having to lay low for a couple of weeks until the MFTs are free and available, and then we can get stuck into that feuds. Right, next up we had our main event. So we were underway with our main event. Cody Rhodes against Big Bronson Reed. It didn't go long. Out came Braun. Out came Logan. Out came all of these people to interrupt. The big talking point, though, was, of course, down would come the Usos to try and help Cody. But Drew, who was suspended last week, he came out to make his presence felt. And obviously, Heyman just kept saying, I can have anybody, which is what he said earlier. The contract says he can have anybody, even someone that Nick Aldis had only last week suspended. So there we go. Drew has been added to the War Games match. Not a big surprise. Cody was in it, so I think Drew was always going to be in it as a result. And so, boom, that was the big revelation at the end of the show, is that he has gone into that team. So we've got 4 in the men's team: Logan, Braun, Bronson, and Drew. The belief is that the person that's going to get added into that team is Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is expected to actually get added into this team. On the other side, we don't know, as we said. We've got the Usos, we got Punk, we got Cody. I think it's probably Roman. But there is maybe a way forward now to do Roman Cena at Survivor Series. Don't know if we take that opportunity. I don't think people would be down on that match if we was to go in that direction. It's just, who's the 5th person for the babyface team if it's not Roman? It's probably Roman, though, to be honest. So overall, I honestly didn't enjoy this show as much as last week. I thought the talking points were a bit more subdued. I think the Zack Ryder thing is the most interesting thing. And really outside of that, there was just not much. In-ring was lacking once again, like it has been all year. I mean, that's no different. I can tell you said Jey Miz was good 89, Ilja Axiom good 93, LA Knight Zack Ryder good 96, Jay Cargill B-Fab, we didn't score, it was 3 minutes long. Cody Rhodes Bronson Reed, we didn't score, it was about 5 minutes long. And it was really just a way of getting to this. So that was SmackDown. Not anything mind-blowing, but definitely worth checking out that Zack Ryder moment. I think that's the big moment of the show. Oscar said, 3rd time commenting, cross-faded for John's tour again, says Oscar. Oscar, appreciate it, buds. And there we go. That was tonight's SmackDown. Appreciate the support. Hope you got something from the show. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.